Welcome to the Social Chameleon Show, where it's our goal to help you learn, grow, and transform into the person you want to become. Today, the not to-do list. I came across this some years ago from Tim Ferriss. It's called the not to-do list, 9 habits to stop right now. I have implemented them, and it has just made a tremendous difference in my life. And I thought for the end of the year, coming into the new year, depending on when you're listening to this is a great thing to start doing. We can free up a lot of time by eliminating a lot of nonsense things that we do. So let's get into this here. So the first one here is do not answer calls from unrecognized phone numbers. Feel free to surprise others, but don't be surprised if it just results in unwanted interruptions and poor negotiating position. Let it go to voicemail. Consider using a service like he talks about some older services, but like Google Voice is what I like to use, where you can listen in on the voicemail being left. You can also get a email or text transcription after the voicemail is left, and you can go through and easily read that real quick and see if there's something you need to respond to immediately, or you can schedule that for a later time. I really do enjoy not answering my phone and letting it go. I realize, some of you out there that, answering unrecognized phone numbers is something you absolutely have to do. But your cell phone, your personal phone, this is something you don't have to do. So, take that with kind of grain of salt. Understand which phone is not being answered. Your personal line isn't the same as being a receptionist or having to answer your work line or business line, no matter, who's calling you or not, if you don't recognize it at all. But also understand, I really like this part here is when you get that surprise call you're not expecting from somebody, you're in a poor negotiating position. Maybe if you feel like that when you pick up the phone and it's like, oh crap, I'm not ready for this. You get them off the phone and set up a time to call them back. Let them know, hey, I'd love to talk about this right now. I am in the middle of X. Can I call you back in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, Tuesday at 3 p.m. And then you're going to be in a better position and you're going to be more prepared for this phone call that you're getting. And you're not going to have somebody else, bombarding your time and your schedule. Number 2, I think this is one of the most critical things, is do not email first thing in the morning or last thing at night. A lot of people are just tethered to your email. The former scrambles your priorities and plans for the day, and the latter just gives you insomnia. Email can wait until 10 a.m. after you've completed at least one of your critical to-do items. I'd also like to add to this social media, text messaging. I go to sleep and I turn off my phone, and I do not turn my phone back on until I'm ready to turn it on. I'm done with my morning things, my meditations, and all these different things. Then I'll turn on my phone, because as soon as you turn that phone on, you're going to be bombarded with other people's requests for your time, whether it's text messages, emails, DMs, Slack messages, whatever you have going on. So take that opportunity, especially when you first wake up in the morning, to set yourself up to win the day. Do the things you need to do in the morning, the first 30, 60, 90 minutes, whatever it is of your day. That's uninterrupted time. People aren't bombarding you. A lot of times it's just nonsensical things anyway that you're being bombarded with, and a little ding, a little notification, a little thing here. Oh, what's going on? How much self-worth did I gain from social media yesterday? All these little things that we can avoid until a later time, where you can either, schedule it like, I'm going to do these things, and at 9 or 10 or 11 or noon or whatever, I'm going to go in and I'm going to check these things. I'm going to turn my phone on or whatever it is and check on these things. On to number 3, do not agree to meetings or calls with no clear agenda or end time. This one is really, really good. I never thought about this before until I came across this thing. A lot of times we all know we go into meetings and it's like, why am I here? What are we doing? Sometimes I know in certain situations it's unavoidable. You get dragged into meetings or whatever, and you have no say in it. But try and control this as much as possible. It goes on to say here, if the desired outcome is defined clearly with a stated objective and agenda, listing topics, questions to cover, no meeting or call should last more than 30 minutes. Request them in advance so you can be best prepared and make good use of your time together. Like I said, I know a lot of times in places, in Army and stuff, you've got to be in these classes, you've got to be in these meetings or whatever they are. You have no choice, you have no control over anything. But when you do have control, when you can have control, set these things up, have clear, defined goals. And if you're pitching something, even that, it shouldn't last 30 minutes. If you're interested in pitching and all stuff like that, there's a great book and course, Pitch Anything. It's amazing. You can just really narrow down your pitches and these different things so that these things don't last for an hour. I'd also like to add something I've added to this myself over the years is consider not having meetings at all. Do them via email. A lot of times these things can be hammered out on a few emails. And with the beauty of that being in an email is you control when you read the email and you control when you reply to the email. Even also consider taking a meeting vacation and not taking meetings at all. A lot of times I get requests for meetings and calls and things, and it's like, I'm sorry, not available. We can handle it here. And 9 out of 10 times that conversation stops, because what these people want to do is they want to get you on the phone and they want to pitch you something. They want to get you emotionally involved in this thing or in this deal or in this project or this service or whatever it is. So try to avoid those things. Like I said, I get messages all the time. I'm like, hey, I'm not taking meetings right now. We can talk about it here. 9 out of 10 times that request goes right away. Guess what? I've just freed up 15. I'm sure a lot of us get those. Hey, can I have a quick 5 minutes to chat about what you do? Or can I get a quick 15 minutes to chat about what you're doing? Maybe we can collaborate. It's just, to me, a sleazy way of trying to capture somebody's time. And don't fall victim to these things. Ask them, hey, what are you looking for? Can we handle this here? Can we hash this out here? Before you get dragged into these calls and you get emotionally involved into something, maybe you didn't even really want, but you got that shiny object syndrome, or you got him. Oh wow, maybe I could use this, and this sounds great. I think I could maybe make use out of it. Don't fall for those things. Number 4, do not let people ramble. Like me, I enjoy rambling. Sometimes it just happens. And forget how's it going when someone calls you. Stick with what's up, or I'm in the middle of getting something out, but what's going on? And this is a big part of when you're getting things done, getting people to the point. Also, on the same token, I like to add to this is don't ramble yourself. Have a clearly thought out objective before you call somebody, before you schedule a meeting, before you email them, before you whatever. We're all busy, and the clearer we can communicate, the better we can get through these things, the more things you can get done in a day. And you can also eliminate a lot of the back and forth and things are unclear. I don't understand, or, can I have more information? Because these things are already clearly set out before you get on that call, before you get into that meeting, before you send that email out or whatever it is. It's really going to make things flow a lot smoothly and a lot less back and forth. Number 5 is do not check email constantly, batch, and set aside times where you only check these things. He goes on to say, get off the cocaine pellet dispenser and focus on execution on your top to-dos instead of responding to manufactured emergencies. Set up a strategic autoresponder and check email twice or 3 times a day. I'd also like to add to this. This includes social media, DMs, Messenger, Slack, all these things that people request for your time, and you're in the middle of something, you grab your phone, you're like, oh, what's this message? Oh, what's this thing? Oh, what's going on? No, even those two. Set aside a time to batch out your replies for DMs, for comments or whatever it is, or your messengers and all these things. Just like you do setting out time to batch out your emails when you check them and you reply to them. Also, like I said, we tend to reach for our phones when we're bored or we're waiting in line. Practice not doing that. Practice just waiting. Be present in this moment. Look around, see what's going on in the world, or, practice being bored, letting your mind wander, letting your mind rest, daydream. These are all skills that it seems crazy. Like, I don't want to be bored. Why can I be bored? Being bored is a skill. It's something you can use to your advantage. Give yourself the opportunity, let your mind wander. Your mind's going to start to think about this. Just come in and out. You're going to find yourself solutions to problems. You're going to come up with ideas and things. You're not constantly bombarding yourself with all these things, all the stimulus. Batch these things out. Batch out your social replies, your emails, DMs, all that stuff. And don't reach for your phone when you're bored. Number 6, do not over communicate with low profit, high maintenance customers. I realize this doesn't apply to all of you, but you can definitely think about it in a lot of the situations in your life where these things do apply. Low profit, high maintenance, fill in the blank. So here goes on to say here, there is no sure path to success, but the surest path to failure is trying to please everyone. You try to please everyone, you please nobody, especially yourself. Back to the thing, do an 80-20 analysis of your customer base in 2 ways. Which 20% are producing 80% or more of your profit, and which 20% are consuming 80% or more of your time. Then put the loudest and least productive on autopilot by citing a change in company policies. Send them an email with new rules as bullet points, number of permissible phone calls, email response time, minimum orders, etc. Offer to point them to another provider if they can't conform to the new policies. I'd like to also add to this, don't be afraid to fire your customers. I know it sounds crazy. And a lot of people are like, well, I've only got 6 people. And if I fire the 3 that drive me up the walls, then I only got 3. Guess what? You free up yourself and you free up your time. You lower your stress level and you can focus on and better serve those that aren't a pain in your ass, that aren't wasting your time. You know, this guy gives you $1,000, but it costs you $1,500 in extra things and all this stuff. You're losing out anyway. You're better served focusing on customers that are you're producing your 80%, that are good customers that you can get along with. You can go back to them and you can try and get more work or more projects out of them, or upsell them upsell them products or sell them new products. You can go out and find more customers like them, so that you fire 3 and you gain 4, and they're all customers that are ideal for you, that aren't a pain in your ass, and they're not taking up all your time. This is a really great thing to do. Don't be afraid to fire your customers. Number 7, do not work more to fix overwhelm. Prioritize. You're working 16 hours a day. You probably should reevaluate that. Okay. It goes on to say here, if you don't prioritize, everything seems urgent and important. If you define the single most important tasks for each day, almost nothing seems urgent or important. Oftentimes, it's a matter of letting little bad things happen. Return a phone call late and apologize. Pay a small late fee. Lose an unreasonable customer, etc. to get the big important things done. The answer to overwhelm is not spinning more plates or doing more. It's defining the few things that really fundamentally change your business and life. I'd like to add to this the difference between being effective and efficient. Being efficient is about doing the right things, while being effective is about doing things right. Okay? Understand the difference between the two. We all can be efficient. We can nail out 1,000 tasks that get nowhere, versus being effective by knowing which few tasks need to be done. That a lot of times can eliminate a lot of the smaller menial things that you're doing. Putting your phone on airplane mode when you're working on one of these projects, when you're working on things, so there's 0 distractions. Also, the thing I really like to do and like to tell people about is list down your 6 most important tasks, those things that need to get done to get you to your goal, or to complete the project or whatever it is, for the next day before you leave the office or before you go to bed. When you get those 6 things done, and the first thing is when you wake up in the morning, when you get to the office, or whatever, you already have your task done. You're not sitting there thinking, oh, what did I need to do today? What about this? Or, oh, well, this thing's come to my desk now, or Janet just emailed me, or Tommy's, he's in the Slack asking me questions. You already know what you're going to need to do, and you can hit these things out. Knocking out that top one thing before you respond to emails and these different things, and can really set your day up for a huge, huge win. You're really going to see a huge increase in your productivity and the tasks that are getting done, and the achievement of your goals and the projects are going to go and move along a lot faster and a lot smoother. Number 8, do not carry a mobile phone all the time. Take at least 1 day off of your digital leash per week. Turn them off, or better still, leave them in the garage or in the car. This is from Tim here. I do this at least Saturday, and I recommend you leave the phone at home if you go out for dinner. So what if you return a phone call in an hour or the next morning? As one of my readers put it, to a muffed coworker who worked 24/7 and expect the same. I'm not the president of the United States. No one should need me at 8 p.m. at night. Okay, you didn't get a hold of me. What bad happened? The answer, nothing. This is a great example. I know we're all going to come up with excuses on reasons why we must have our phone at all times, but we must be replying to these things. Maybe in very rare cases, you do need to be. But I would really take a step back and evaluate why you feel like you need to reply to these things immediately in real time. Like I said, it's easy to turn off your phone, put it on airplane mode, put it in another room. A lot of times for me, it's just turning my phone over. I don't think about it. There's some study or something that came out, I don't know if a few years ago, whatever it was, where having your phone near you creates low-level anxiety. Do I have a message? Did somebody text me? What is all these things? You don't need to be doing it. We already have enough things going on in this world. You don't need your cell phone creating low levels of anxiety for yourself. Turn off all these notifications and all these dings and bings and pings and all these things that happen for every little silly thing that comes through. I have priorities that my phone that will come through. I have few, like what was it? I don't know, starred contacts or whatever it is that they can get through if it's an emergency. But other than that, I have all my notifications off. Nothing pops up on my phone. I don't get any dings and bings unless it's one of those criteria that I've already set up. I didn't like you guys to try that as well. And last year, number 9, do not expect work to fill a void that non-work relationships and activities should. Work is not all of life. Your coworkers shouldn't be your only friends. Schedule life and defend it as you would an important business meeting. Never tell yourself, I'll just get it done this weekend. Review Parkinson's Law in the 4-hour work week and force yourself to cram within tight hours so your per hour productivity doesn't fall through the floor. Focus, get the critical few things done, and get out. Emailing all weekend long is no way to spend the little time you have on this planet. It's hip to focus on getting things done, but it's only possible once we remove the constant static and distractions. If you have trouble deciding what to do, just focus on not doing. Different means, same end. And that's the end of the article there for that. Listen, people, like you said, we only have so much time on this planet. You're not going to be on your deathbed saying, "Oh, I wish I worked more." You're gonna look back and say, "Where did this time go? My kids are older, or whatever it is. My life is gone. I haven't done all these things. Boy, I got a lot of the other things done that really didn't really matter. It could have waited for the next day, or whatever it is, or been pushed off to somebody else." Don't be afraid to delegate as well, people. A lot of people, they think they've got to do it all themselves. If that old adage, if it's going to be done right, I got to do it myself. Wrong. You've got to empower other people to help you. You've got to train them. You've got to set people up to succeed so you can focus on other things. Okay. And the giveaway, we're not doing that as of the time of this recording. We are doing the Holiday Helper. It's a few days here before Christmas. Just get out there and, be kind to your neighbors. Be sympathetic to other people. You have no idea what's going on in these people's lives. You see somebody needs a helping hand, help them out. Especially this time of year when it's front of mind. Okay. See a homeless person or whatever, don't worry about or put onto them what you think they will do with the $1 or $2 or $5 or $10 you give them. Just give it to them and let it go, let it be. Whatever they do, that's up to you. That's up to them, not up to you. It's not for you to judge. It's about giving. It's about giving without expectation. That's what I want you guys to do this holiday season and beyond. Take this time of year to get into the habit of giving without expectation of reciprocation, okay? And I will link to this article so you folks can read it and reference the things that Tim has in his article. You're now aware of who Tim Ferriss is. It's an amazing podcast. I think somewhere over $500 million is constantly in the top 5, if not number 1 in a lot of categories he's in. He's got some amazing books for our work week, for our chef, for our body, Tools of Titans, Tribe of Mentors, great, amazing books. And they're big. they're no slouch either. So there's a lot of good reading material, a lot of good resources. Tim really does dive deep down. He goes narrow and deep. You know, he doesn't stay wide and shallow. He's a narrow and deep kind of guy, and he really gets down to things. A lot of great things to learn from him. If you're not aware of who he is, check him out at tim.blog, and check out the Tim Ferriss Show in your favorite podcast app if you haven't already. This week's challenge: I challenge you to delete all of your social media apps from your phone for at least 1 week. You will not die. Guaranteed. Okay? If you need it for work, and I know some of us do, use the web versions on a scheduled time. Okay? I know Instagram, it's hard. There are services out there like later.com and some other things along those lines, Hootsuite and stuff, where I think Buffer as well, where you can go hook up your Instagram account and auto-publish to Instagram for those of you that have business purposes and stuff. And you can stay off of the app from your phone. This is the challenge, people. Delete all your social media apps for at least 1 week. Regain your life. And the final thoughts. What other things should be on your not to-do list? What are the things, your job, your life, that you can add to this list that you shouldn't be doing? Think about it for a second. Let's take this time. We all got 17-mile long to-do lists. Find the things that you shouldn't be doing that are a waste of your time, that are causing you the 80% of the grief and only giving you 20% of the results. Okay? Find those. Put them into your rotation. You'll be surprised how many more things you can get done. And as always, if this was a help to you, the best way to support the podcast is to share it. Share with at least 2 other people. You can follow us in between shows all week long at thesocialchameleon.show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, you can subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast app like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and all those great other platforms. If you listen to the podcast version, I'd like to leave a review. That would be amazing. It does help us reach more amazing people like you. For this and other past episodes and links to everything we talk about, you can visit thesocialchameleon.show. Until next time, you guys have a happy new year, a very blessed and prosperous new year. And next year, for 2019, I want you guys to really commit to learning, to growing, and transforming into the person you want to become.